All right. We're here again.
Welcome back.
With Papaloy,
Papa Ben.
exploring the world of fatherhood with philosophy, science, and art. So thanks again for tuning in. And what's happening right now? The slap heard around the world? Was it?
After the fact, I guess, because nobody apparently was watching the Oscars in the first place.
Oh, yeah. Like the 25 people who were tuning in. Congratulations.
It echoed amongst the ether for sure. The ripples went wireless, man, and just like sent it out to the like a signal to the planet. It was like, come check this out.
I think when I woke up, that's one of the few news-worthy headlines that I have watched today.
Yeah.
Other than the war in Ukraine.
Yeah, I guess something to lighten the mood, at least for the public's sake.
Something to entertain us.
Maybe not for their
for
personal
a brief
sake.
moment. So thanks, Chris Rock and Will Smith.
Yeah.
For the
Go check out the breakdowns.
the breakdown. They're even doing breakdowns now.
Yeah. It was hilarious, man. They give the backstory and stuff, you know.
Yeah. There should be backstory.
Give you all the details and stuff. Those were some interesting details that you told me about too. I didn't realize that about their
I didn't
their
even
issues.
know that. Like
I am the worst.
I was just reading on it, just trying to find out what's been happening because I don't really follow Will Smith that much. Just when he's on the news, like right
just
now.
On Fresh Prince.
Yeah.
Every week, son.
Every week before. But he's in the news now. So okay. All right. And that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Slap a comedian in front of the world.
It's intense, man.
Holy shit. Comedy is dead,
man. Yeah. Talk about awkward.
Yeah. That shit was crazy.
There was a whole lot of awkwardness going on over there.
Is the world getting too sensitive? What do you think?
Yeah. Well, we were talking a little bit before Hurricanina about the current state of entertainment in the UFC, and maybe everyone's on that level now.
Yeah, right? Or like entertainment in general.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Stuff people do on TikTok is ridiculous just for some views.
The amount of shit that we have to do just to stay famous, or I mean, I wouldn't understand. We're not fucking even near famous.
No,
I don't want to be.
Yeah, no. Not like that. I don't want to be those guys.
But for these people, I mean, they live in a different reality. So to stay relevant or stay famous, you would have to be like at least half shit crazy or something. I don't know.
Got to be a little bit.
Yeah. Or maybe probably crazy.
Yeah.
Because you have to do things, right? In order to stay at least, or to be in the conversation.
Or are they normal?
In terms of, in terms of being in the minds of the general populace, the masses. So
we were touching a little bit on in the UFC compared to ONE FC and kind of the difference in entertainment on either side. And obviously when you think about entertainment in the UFC, you can't help but think about McGregor.
Yeah.
But at the same time, one thing to always remember is that he did some crazy weight cutting stuff to be that dominant, right? Yeah. Just like Khabib went to the hospital, right, for his weight cutting techniques.
Multiple times, I think.
Multiple times, and had to cancel fights. I don't know if it was. I think it was more than once, right? If I remember. But so he didn't technically fight in like if all things are equal, skills equal, he was fighting guys definitely in a smaller category.
That's right? What they say, yeah.
Yeah, because he was doing blood transfusions. He's
probably walking around like a natural welterweight or probably middleweight. Or
Didn't he fight at 180 or 170, 65 or something like that?
Sure.
What was it, 165 with Diaz, right? What was that weight,
sure.
that catch weight or something?
I know McGregor did, yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So twice. I guess what the point I'm saying is like he fought in categories way underneath in terms of size, not like quality or anything, but in terms of size, he obviously fought a champion. So nothing to take, I don't take anything away from his skill, but at the end of the day, he was going down in weight categories, right? That's a big part of how he became dominant. And you always have to remember that compared to like Mighty Mouse would just basically fight in his weight division.
Yeah.
That's it.
He just shows up,
just dominates the shit out of it.
That's maybe one of the reasons why he's not that popular with the casual. I mean, I'm still a casual, but like casual. Like if you ask somebody, do you know McGregor? Yes,
of course.
But do you know Demetrius Johnson? My sister doesn't. My sister knows McGregor because she sees him on the news.
Unless you're on Twitch
all the time, yeah. Unless you're on Twitch, he plays video games. So we followed him way before he was in ONE FC.
Oh, he's always been awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, you can be like that. I mean, just fight, show up, but you wouldn't get the following. I mean, Chael Sonnen, for a reason, he advocates having this sort of personality,
the drama,
drama, bring it. If
Make
you've watched the
emotional.
movie The Gladiator, it's maybe one of the best analogies that I could give. You know, when he started out just killing people, and then the owner, the slave owner, was telling him, you got to entertain if you want to get the hearts of the masses, the people on your side. So he starts, you know, other than killing, he just entertains, and he gets like the attention of the Roman citizens there, and thus gaining him more popularity and all that shit. So I mean, fighting is still a business, and or at least UFC.
For sure. The betting is a big part of it, right? Gambling.
Yeah, other than that,
it's a huge part of it.
It's still entertainment. But we used to like poke fun on WWF before, but I loved it.
Oh, I used to watch that all the time. It was very entertaining. But you knew what you were watching.
Yeah, you knew. Was there ever a time you ever imagined it was, ever thought it was real? Like,
no,
especially when you were like really, really young. Because I guess I watched it when I was really, really young. Like,
I suppose if you just have no idea.
In the Hulk Hogan days, Andre the Giant.
Oh yeah.
So I was in my mind, I was thinking like they were having real like altercations and in fights. Sometimes they bleed, but now you know that they just carry a blade with them and just slit a little bit of
get
a little bit of blood there. Yeah. But before, there was a time when I was like a kid, I was thinking like, shit, this is real, man.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, if you had no idea that it was entertainment.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
Then you grow up and you see it as entertainment, right? It's impossible being hit in the chair in your fucking head and you just stay alive like a tanka.
You don't
somebody smacks him with a chair and he's still going on. In real life, you'd fucking die.
You get a concussion at least, maybe. Right? Yeah, you'd be out.
Because if you've never been smacked in the face at least once in your life, you don't know how it feels. It sucks, right?
Never been knocked the hell out, man.
I mean, I haven't been knocked, but I've been punched in the face before. So it sucks.
Yeah, you don't have to go unconscious to know what it's like to get, punched and see black or something like that.
Or even when you're just doing a little bit of sparring, when with headgear, boxing gloves.
Oh, yeah.
You still get sometimes your mouth bleeds.
Sure.
It's not let's just say it's not easy. That's why it's hard to criticize when you watch a boxing match. I don't like just go telling on the TV like you suck, man. Because at least if you tried it, not fighting boxing, but at least a little bit of a training with it, you'd know how difficult it is. Man. You can't just throw punches there and expect to knock out your opponent. You got to have a strategy. And sometimes some boxers get criticized, like Mayweather, for being defensive. That's his strategy. And I happen to be a big fan of it personally. I like the technical.
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Yeah. But here in the Philippines, when you watch, especially there's a lot of Mayweather haters here.
Of course. This is Pacquiao territory, man.
Yeah. But I'm a big fan of him.
Yeah. I mean, if you respect the technique, then it's a great person to watch and do his art.
Very technical fighter. Not just defensively, his offense is actually underrated.
Of course.
Yeah.
To be that good, you'd have to have great offense.
Yeah, you watch his fight with DeMarcus Chop Corley. That's a fucking excellent display of counter punching, attacking, and being defensive at the same time. He got him on the ropes, and he was just, doing his Philly shell thing and flip, shoulder roll, and then bam! Holy shit, that fight was incredible, man. Yeah. It was a long time ago. He was still a lightweight, I think, if I'm not mistaken. But that was one of the best displays of Mayweather's skills. And there's a lot. There's fight with Arturo Gatti. There's like dozens of it. If you just watch back, But if you watch boxing here, most likely you just be cheering for, or if you're betting for the opponent of Pacquiao, especially Pacquiao, the days.
As you're going to win a lot of money.
Yeah.
Everyone's voting for Pacquiao over here, man.
He's running for president now. It's the times that we live in. And
yeah, he's probably got a good chance.
Yeah, who knows? He's still number 4, I think, in the surveys. Pretty far from the front runner, which is Bongbong Marcos. So, but
they feel like Pacquiao is a people's person, right? I mean, that's like his story, right?
Yeah, people criticize him a lot, but to be fair, I mean, he came from nothing, and managed to become one of the greatest boxers of all time. And at the same time, became a congressman, a senator, and now running for potentially be the leader of the Republic of the Philippines. How amazing is that? Just the story itself. He was just a guy who was selling used bottles. In the streets, man.
Really?
Holy shit!
Like recycled
bottles. Kulafu. That's why there was a movie about him called.
Oh, really? I haven't seen that yet. I have to check that out.
Kulafu, something. Kid Kulafu, because he was known as Kid Kulafu when he was. Kulafu is like a popular drink here.
Yeah.
So he used to collect the bottles here to earn money.
Is that why they have the fighter wine? Is that what that's named after?
Yeah, similar to that one.
Yeah. It's like some low end shit.
Yeah. Like something you make
just so some dude can go collect and make some chump change. Like, holy shit.
But he
did that.
How many years did he do that? Him, not just himself, but his entire family out of poverty. Imagine that.
Crazy.
The story itself. Yeah,
and now
that's determined.
His son is even a professional competitor, right?
Trying to be.
Oh, he doesn't have an official record yet.
Amateur, I think.
Oh, he's amateur. Okay, so he does have a record. Oh, good for him, man.
So all respect to him, man. I mean,
whatever, man.
People, a lot of people he takes a lot of flack for running for president, but
we can all disagree on something, but I mean,
I disagree with a lot of his proposed policies, but
got to give it up to the guy, dude. Yeah, it's like fucking props to you, bro.
You're a self-made
Jesus
man.
Christ. I mean, in this environment too, it's not like amongst all the shit that happens here in the Philippines with the the circuses that happen here. But wow, yeah, it's amazing. Good for him, man.
Yeah, good for him.
But yeah, we definitely don't agree on everything.
Yeah, a lot of it for sure. But he's got a lot of shit going on. So who knows? We'll see in May. That's when the election will happen. On what is it? May 4/16. Fuck, I lost the actual date.
Yeah.
But are you voting for the first time?
I'm not an educated voter, man.
Yeah.
So.
When was the last time you voted? Was it in America? Right?
Obama.
Yeah,
okay. I was like, I quit after this. After this bullshit.
Enough with politics.
Yeah. It was great and everything, having a black president. I'm not complaining about that, but I mean, after that part, that's pretty much as awesome as it got.
Did you think that they were overselling the hope thing?
Yeah. Yeah. I would say that's pretty accurate.
American politics is a whole different beast. I mean,
so is the Philippines politics.
Yeah,
it's pretty wild west out
here. Every election is crazy season.
Yeah, and no system is perfect. So
yeah, I'm getting sick and tired of it. But you gotta, if we're ever gonna participate in democracy, we at least try. Right, that's the best thing we can do. We educate ourselves. We don't rely on.
Don't sell your vote.
Yeah, others to tell us who to vote. We should at least have it in ourselves to or compel ourselves to at least learn, right?
Yeah, imagine you didn't
look at the policies.
Yeah.
So why not?
Yeah, can you imagine if you didn't have the right to vote? That would just wasn't an option, right? I mean,
it's still an option.
And then people are just selling it
away. We actually have a chance to choose our leader. And it's not always right that the majority wins. Sometimes the will of the masses could be wrong.
Of course,
it could not be. It would necessarily be the let's say the right thing to do. There was a time when Hitler convinced the entire country to hate on specific people. Right? How fucked up is that? But that was the majority at that time, and they elected the dictator. So there you go.
There you go. So we don't want that. People.
Yeah, but we do have at least some sort of power to choose individually doesn't maybe would not reflect the results, would not reflect our individual choices, but we do get some sort of, should I call it illusion? I don't know, but if we participate in it.
What's the hashtag? Is it like vote not for sale? Hashtag vote not for sale? I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Vote buying.
There's got to be one out there though.
How much is it? In dollars, just to provide a little bit of
$20
context. Yeah, $20 for your vote. There you go. If there are any foreigners,
hopefully more.
Sometimes $40.
Oh my God.
For your vote.
If depending where you live.
Yeah, right? Depending on where you live, and that the $40 includes not just your choice of mayor. Sometimes it includes the governor. Sometimes it includes the president.
Wow.
So there's
like
different packages, in every territory. So it happens.
There's like a broker for it.
I've never been approached.
I'm a vote broker.
I'd like to be approached. I take the money. I would still vote for my.
Still vote for your.
Yeah, but I'm just gonna spend their money.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna vote for my candidate, but it happens a lot here. And it's a common practice, which is sad to say, but it's
there's some practices too where like the barangay captain represents an area, right? Isn't that something that also happens? What do they call that? I forget.
I forget. But
it's like basically
they do have their own
represents
alliances.
The community, right? It's like, wow.
Because one of the strategies of presidents or even local mayors is to approach the local barangay units.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones who are very close to,
registering their local communities to vote. They are the ones with the paperwork. Yeah, they do the easily manipulated. Who goes and checks if their vote's been tampered with, right? How many people do that?
And I think personally for me, the challenge, I'm going back to parenting for me, is to communicate that to our children and how we participate in a democratic system. What is the advantage? What were the history before we had this system? We had kings, right? Who automatically their heirs would be the leaders of their respectable nations. But now we have a different system. All throughout history, we've experimented with different stuff. So it's important that we teach them, or they learn. They do learn it in school, but are we really learning when we were at that age? We participated maybe in some in our local school government. Have you ever been in a classroom election for class president?
No, dude.
Did you ever take it seriously?
Vote for me, dude. No one would vote for me.
Because I was vice president of the student council before.
Nice. Okay.
So
how was that?
We still did the whole campaigning thing, all that shit.
Yeah.
But
Did you pay people? Did you pay people to vote for you?
No, but there were some things that we
Come on,
did.
bro, I got the lunch money
we're
for
gonna
you.
provide some water stations.
Yeah, water stations.
We're gonna have some free coffee.
You got the dream list.
Yeah, so,
we're getting the swimming pool, bro.
There were some things that were happening there that's quite similar to how an election is done. But I think the system really needs to be refined, man.
We're bringing Pizza Hut for lunch every day.
Because if we're going to be training leaders at school, then how do we approach that? I think that's it's very challenging. It sure is hard. I mean, we teach them about leadership, but executing that.
How to allow them to practice it?
It takes a lot of effort, a lot of
time. In
a
class environment too.
Or even in your household, right? It takes a lot. Just like communicating that to your children on a daily basis. Like, what is the mission? What is our mission in the first place?
Yeah.
Do we have like goals in our families? I at least like to practice that. Like individually, what is my mission? To be a good father? Okay. Now, how do I translate that?
Yeah.
If I wake up every day, how do I communicate that to my family? That, okay, this is the goal that with my wife, that in the hopes that we can raise a better human being, a better daughter. This is what we're going to try to do. We're going to teach her love and what else? I don't know. There are different approaches. There's not just one method. So that's what we're trying to do here in the first place. So I think that part where we can communicate that particular aspect is very challenging, because it's hard managing ourselves even, right? And now we get to take care of that thing with our family, and you got to discuss it with your partner, your wife.
Yeah, when you're saying like what's our mission, it's great to have a common goal, right? Like like a team.
Like a team.
You're like that's a great way to think about the parenting, right? Because you're working together to raise this human being in this crazy environment.
Yeah.
And so you have you got to have a like a checklist every day. You got that routine, and then you still have these morals to demonstrate, not just teach, right? Like you got to demonstrate what it actually means to be respectful and to say please all the time, say you're sorry all the time to your kid. Like even if it's unnecessary, you just get used to doing it all the time. And how do you actually practice leadership in the household? They get to one way that I would do that is like I would make mistakes on purpose, and and so that the daughter would
serve you and
correct me, not just observe it, and like actually tell me like what I'm doing is not correct, and get them comfortable telling adults that they're not correct. Because I forget where I read that.
You're getting methodical with your your shit.
You should be, right?
That's
the idea here.
Yeah, and, that's a good point.
I mean, I hope so. I hope that's what people are considering, amongst so many other things. But allow them to tell adults, give them permission. Basically, that's always something that people say. Give them permission to empower them. Things like that. It's kind of like cliche, I guess, at this point. But empower the kids.
Yeah, but the common goal, though, is I think the tricky part, because
it's so difficult because your own ego,
have your own like ways of how you would imagine your child to be, and then your wife would have also another method in mind. So sometimes you would like argue over that, like, nah, I think this is a better idea. No, this is a better idea. So that's part of the challenge there, and even just communicating with your significant other. It's the disagreement that you have with your partner.
I think there's
over how to raise.
There we go. Yeah, it's the expectation has to be managed.
Okay.
Right? That manage your own expectations on, like, let's say you expected not to be doing the dishes so often when you got married, but turns out, man, you do them every night or whatever. You do them every day, all day, every day. And because you expect someone else independent from you to do the dishes, which is kind of silly, right? Like you should, like, at least for me, it's like, I would rather rely on myself to make sure this house is still functioning properly than become dependent on your partner. So at the same time, work together, but keep the expectations pretty minimal. Right? I think that's like, I expected you to give the kid a bath, and there you are not doing it, doing something else that I expected you to do. So this is like, well, if you just do it yourself, right? Like manage your own time properly, and then you can get a lot of shit done, and you don't have to be pointing the finger at somebody else. And I think that's a very difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
Right. When you're in a family setting, and sometimes, like I expected, I'm in my 30s, I moved back in with my mother, and I expect to be able to communicate personal things to her, but just turns out like she'll just go gossip about it, or something like that. That was an expectation on my side, not that she really did anything wrong. I was telling her my personal business, and then she went and told somebody else. So if I didn't really want, it's keeping the expectation low. If you didn't want somebody gossiping about something that you didn't want people to know, probably just don't tell your mother, right? Unfortunately, that was an expectation that I had to manage about my relationship with my own mother. So stuff like that in the family setting, because here you don't just live with your wife and kids. There are other generations that, like you guys, that live in a multi generation house. So that's a different dynamic where if you're just abroad living with your own family.
Yeah.
So the expectation is a big part of dealing with the relationship. That's for me, at least. I feel that way.
So less expectations.
Less expectation.
Rather do it yourself if you can.
Obviously, there's still some level of expectation that you should have your partner to participate as a parent, but just kind of observe those expectations and kind of think about like, should I really be upset about this happening, or it's really not. It's really about what I expected somebody else to do. And I didn't maybe communicate the expectation properly, or the person is just not willing and I therefore push back on that. Right. So it's, yeah.
And it's the same, I think, when you mentioned with our kids, like having, or the thing with expectations with our children, right?
Oh,
like
yeah.
You mentioned that.
It's
I
crazy.
remember
You can have
in one of our
huge
conversations, like we always expect them to be this something that we imagine them.
Oh yeah, it's wild how our imaginations get so carried away with our kids.
I'd like them to become,
want to control them.
Yeah, better athletes, better artists,
smarter,
which is good.
Of course,
because we have expectations. But you said something in the line of don't really expect too much or something. If I remember when she was still not born at that time, if I can remember it right, when you were telling me about what are some of the things to expect by not really having too much expectations, because you might be expecting too much, but you just end up being disappointed.
Yeah, that's a big part of life too. Yeah, I mean, there's if you want to move up in the economy, I mean, there's you got to have high expectations for yourself and things like that. So there are obviously, I'm just talking about in this specific context of parenting and family environment. So there are obviously expectations you have to deal with every day. That are completely acceptable and would be, nothing wrong with those things.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a good.
It's difficult though, man. It's like that's a daily battle,
Because you'd have to like, we're only human, born to make mistakes. And our children are gonna make a lot of mistakes. On the way.
This is something I've been thinking about a lot lately, and it'll be interesting to get your feedback because to put it into context, like I didn't grow up around a lot of kids, like in family environment, like distant relatives, nieces and nephews. I obviously had cousins, but I definitely didn't grow up around a lot of nieces and nephews and babies and seeing them all the time growing up and getting older and stuff like that. It wasn't like a regular thing. So it's so I'm not sure sometimes, like maybe I don't have the proper perspective or something, but something that our daughter is going through right now is and these family members, so obviously I'm not going to name their names, but you know who I'm talking about. Our daughter is very close with one of her cousins, and it's as they get older, they start realizing the differences between each other, which is totally normal, right? It's like, my hands, my legs are longer or something like that. And then, they notice like their one is shorter than the other. And then they start like saying, oh, I'm taller than you. And so it was, I'm like, to put it into further context, like I'm very happy that my daughter gets to grow up in this environment where she has lots of cousins and uncles and aunties and lolas everywhere, every day. Basically, you can go, visit one and do that 7 days a week. Yeah. So it's great. So I'm not complaining about that part, but it's just a dynamic that I'm trying to like understand, where they get to this age. I think it started around maybe 3-4 years old when they start going to, maybe pre-nursery or get exposed to play groups or just each other, right? Like different people in the household, they start realizing the differences between each other. And, our daughter always has to hear that she's shorter than other cousins of hers. And it got to the point where her and her cousin that are very close kind of like are not really a fallout, right? But it's like the play dates are far less than what they used to be. And like, I still encourage the daughter to be like, oh, you want to go play with so-and-so, and she'd be like, no, because we're going to fight again. It's like, I'm like, oh man, you don't even know how lucky you are to have a cousin to fight.
Yeah.
I didn't have any cousins to have a fight with. Like, and so I like, in one way, I want to laugh at it. But at the same time, like, it kind of makes me upset that, like, she feels like she's getting bullied, and it keeps happening. And I realize these are probably totally normal for this age to be saying differences about each other, and they don't like it. But at some point, it feels like you have to give your kid a little bit of fuel to put on the fire herself, right? Like, let her deal with it.
Yeah.
And give her permission to be like, all right, you want to go jump into the battle, like, you can say something back. Yeah, and so I don't know if that was the best advice. Basically, it's like now they're kind of distant. They don't really play as often. When they see each other, they obviously still get along. It's not like a cat fight every time they see each other. So they still get along, but it's just like maybe a fraction of what they used to play together. So it's just, I don't know if this is like a bad situation, or if it's just like a completely normal, or I don't want them to like have to apologize. And that sounds like way too overkill or something. It doesn't seem that major, but it's just like a different scenario there. I'm like, I don't know, is this good? Is this okay that they're not that close right now? Because maybe in the future they'll become close. I don't know.
For me, that's pretty normal. I think because I would have to go back to my childhood days as well. Although I couldn't remember any a lot of details about it, but trying to understand in that space that they're in, or that reality that they're having right now, it's pretty normal for them. And for us, maybe we can intervene a little bit, but in my opinion, and just for me, I just let it be, because it takes a while
just let it be
to process it, that whole experience. And then while growing up, you would understand the dynamics of relationships slowly. Sometimes you gotta swallow a lot of bitter pills. Sometimes you gotta be in a lot of relationships, fuck up a lot of relationships to be able to come to a
Sure.
to an understanding on how.
Maybe it's a good thing they fight.
Yeah, sometimes it could be, but as long as, for me, it's not physical. Sometimes it could be, especially with boys, because when we were kids, we would get into fights with even some of our closest cousins before. We would just smack each other. Yeah. So that's a part of the whole childhood experience, especially at
dealing
that
with
age.
Relationships.
Yeah, how to deal with that. Yeah. Perhaps we can intervene a little bit, I think, but it takes more than that to get the point across. Sometimes you just gotta let them be.
Yeah.
Deal with it. If they have questions, and we can answer it with all honesty.
I'm gonna go with that one.
Yeah.
I don't really want to get that involved in it.
She's telling me I'm weaker than or he's telling me I'm weaker than whoever, whatever.
Yeah.
Then
do some push-ups.
Yeah, sometimes
that's what I do.
We are. It doesn't mean we stay that way. I'm weaker than a lot of people in this world.
Sure.
For sure, I can acknowledge that. I'm not smarter than the average Joe. I'm just I can acknowledge that, but doesn't mean I will stay this way. Because I'm an adult now, so I of course recognize that shit. But as children, it's important to at least tell them that you can always be better.
Yeah. Sure.
In one way you can do that.
The high road and
probably prove it that, if in terms of there are things that we're not in control of, like weight or height. Well, some people are just, born skinny like me. Some people are just born muscular. Some people are born tall, short. It happens a lot. It's part of diversity of nature and everything.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that we are limited to that experience. We can always find ways to be better at something else than anybody.
So, yeah, and it's probably good to say that I realize I'm probably a little biased, right? As far as
I think we all are.
Yeah. Right. Probably every parent is, right? It's like but
that's normal.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like wrong for me. I mean, we would always root for our kids, like when they're competing, especially like
sure,
playing basketball, volleyball, soccer, whatever. We would always root for them to win. But what happens when they lose?
Yeah. How do they handle it when they lose?
How do they handle it when they lose?
That's an important
sometimes we can be brutal about it. One of Will Smith's movies, I haven't watched it yet, but he won the Best Actor. He's now an Academy Award winner, being Venus and Serena Williams' father as his character, Richard Williams. And he happens to be like, I don't know if he's strict with his, he probably is, but he had his methods. I don't know if it's wrong or if it's right, but he did turn them into successful, very much successful athletes and tennis players, the greatest of all time, probably in women's division. So there's things that we can agree on there in these methods, but there are things that I'm not willing to do to just make them win.
Right.
All the time.
There's a story of the Jackson 5, right?
Yeah.
So we all know that story.
Exactly. So there's always caveats to it. And I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, honestly. I'm still on the process of doing that experiment with my child. Yeah. And hopefully I can just, my priority, I mean, for me personally, is just teaching her to become a loving human being. That's basically, because it doesn't mean she has to be weak. Just, accept everything. And somebody tries to bully you, just take it. No. By loving, I mean just loving life, loving other human beings as much as you can. Propagate it if you can. It's hard, but that would be the lesson that I would try, at least. I don't know if it's an advantage or disadvantage. That's still an experiment I'm willing to conduct. Yeah. So who knows? I'll let you know in 10, 20 years if we're still good in this world. If they don't nuke us yet. So yeah.
There was an exercise that a daughter and I went through the other last month. There are some days when I'm not when I can dedicate a little bit of time in the afternoon and have daughter do some exercises, right? And so you can kind of utilize the physical exercise as a mental exercise, and not be where it's like so exhausting or something. But it was like an exercise that we went through, and I kind of appreciated the outcome was those refill gallons that we have. So I filled it up with just a little bit of rainwater or something like that, and just my lung is like 1/4 full. It's not too heavy, but I filled it up because water weight, when you lift it, it moves, right? So it's a little bit more dynamic in terms of how to deal with a water weight. I don't know if you've ever seen those people that use like a big PVC pipe, and it's like several meters long, and they lift it over their heads, and it's filled with water. And that's because it'll move, right, when you lift it up. And so every little move of the water, you have to kind of like adjust to keep it over your head. So there's like these certain styles of exercise or certain techniques, I guess, where water weight is used for more dynamic exercise. But so I took that concept and I put some water in the refilling, and I told her you have to squat down, put your like grass to ass, like put your deep squat, and then you pick it up with your hands under, and then you eventually have to get it up to the bottom of the barrel has to come up to your chest, and you need to hold it up and do that. And it was like a real struggle for her physically, and it wasn't even that heavy. I knew she could lift it up because it wasn't that heavy. I've seen her like move heavier things than that. So I knew she could do it, and she was just like struggling mentally. Like she didn't want to do it because she didn't think she could do it for, whatever it was. And I just, it was a mental exercise for me as well, because I would have to, calm myself down, catch myself from raising my voice. Because if you make it a negative experience, that's all they're going to take from it. That's all they're going to take from it. So it's not going to become what I had hoped for. And so she kept, dropping it and putting it down. You could see that, they don't hide it, right? Their expression on their face is very obvious. They're not happy. And just kind of like reinforcing that she can do it. And, she's very capable of doing it. She just needs to figure it out. And just kind of show her samples of like possibilities that she could do, not showing her exactly, right? Like, look, you can try to tilt it this way and lift it, get your hand on the other side that way. And eventually she worked through the exercise and was able to lift it up as high as I requested it. And it was a good exercise. Like, I feel like that was a good way to kind of have, not just for her, but for me, it was like to be able to go through that routine and our process. And
for you, and it's an exercise of patience.
Yeah, totally, man. I was like, don't don't go there.
But at the same time, you got to just say, all right.
Yeah, that's when all that breathing exercises help, dude. Take a deep breath. Like,
you can't help it sometimes.
Try again.
You're like let's say eager to correct them.
Of course.
Every second, every minute. But sometimes you just gotta let things transpire without your intervention.
Right.
It's hard though. I mean, fuck. So when my daughter does things like on her own, sometimes just
yeah.
But my wife sometimes has to stop me from doing shit. It's like, just let her be. I can't help it,
Maybe that's where it comes from, because I've spent so many years like that. It's like you spend so many years being this
failing
protector. Yeah, you fail. And that's why you don't want to do it anymore, right? Like you want to steer away from failing as a parent as much as possible.
Yeah, but
that's what helps you become a better parent.
How we're still alive right now. Why rather we're still alive because we failed a lot.
Sure.
Failed a lot, and we learned from most of the failures. I'm not saying all of it.
Figured something out.
Yeah, I've at least learned a lot from failures, past failures. Holy shit. Even in this whole parenting thing, sometimes we have more children. I failed in the first one, maybe in the second one, but I'd rather stick with the first one and do this right the first time.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck.
Is that a real thing? You can get it right on the first time?
I don't know, maybe not, but I'd rather try on this one.
That's one of those expectations, man.
Have a lot of kids and hope that one of them is just going to turn out successful. What is success?
It's a game of probability, bro.
Yeah. Holy fuck. And you're willing to
increase your chances, son.
And you're willing to sacrifice lives for it. That's a life, man. I mean, the more children you have for the sake of propagating your DNA, maybe not just your DNA, your name, whatever, just for that. And you're going to have a lot of kids. I mean, go for it if you'd like to, but for me,
if you can afford it,
I'm betting on quality over quantity.
Yeah,
all the time. One is good enough, but you have to try on the first time rather than just
try on every time, right? You should be getting better. Like if you had 10 kids, that 10th kid should be like, you should have that shit down, man. You should be like a master. You'd be like a red belt at having kids. You've gone beyond black belt, bro. You're like a red belt now.
Yeah, but at least we can try to be better, not just parents, but as individuals every day. It's hard though. I mean, it's hard to try to become a better human being on a daily basis. Just waking up every day and watching yourself in the mirror and having to confront all your shit is hard enough. And now you have to raise another human being or be in a relationship even with somebody else. It's hard enough. So managing those things in your life is difficult. It is. I mean, it's just hard. But
it's hard to do it with yourself.
Yeah. So we try.
I barely made it out.
Right? We at least try. That's the whole point. Even individually, for me, just waking up and no matter how fucked up the world is, I'd still try to be a decent human being. At least I have low expectations, but I just at least try, and I'd like my family to be that way. So just be a good example, right? It's one of the ways that we can do it.
Teach by example. Sounds a good way to go.
Don't just go around slapping people. Because you get offended. I mean, I'm not calling out Will Smith here. He
just dropped a nuke at the Oscars.
Or just go invading another country just because you feel like it, or geopolitics and all that shit. Holy fucking!
We saw the smoke signs from the Philippines, bro. We tuned in, son. Wow! Thanks for sending the signal. The Batman meme is awesome, dude. Did you see that one?
No.
You know the comic book Batman where it's from the 70s or something. He's slapping Robin. He's
yeah, that's a pretty popular.
They put Will Smith's face on it. It's hilarious, dude.
In Tagalog, they call it.
It's hilarious, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry, Will Smith. I'm not laughing at you. I'm just laughing at the meme.
Yeah. The meme. Thanks for entertaining us, though. Yeah. For a day. Chris Rock, man. Still a legend, too. Yeah. Well, should be a good time to take a break.
Let's do that, man.
We'll be back. We're just going to have a pee break. So thanks again for tuning in. We'll be back. Pause. Okay, there we go. We're back, and it's time for a sponsor break. After the break, this episode is sponsored by Zero Waste.
Oh yeah,
so tell us about.
Humble Amigas is a lifestyle shop that's located in Makahalar, Barangay Kamamanan. If you know where Frankie's restaurant is, it's the same street. You just go in there. Basically, it's refillable household essentials right now. Household essentials, so liquid detergent, fabric conditioner, alcohol, those kind of
and bring your own bottles, right?
Yeah, you can. If you don't want a whole gallon, which is sold, then you can bring your own recycled containers, whatever it is, because there's powdered detergent as well. So if you want to fill up a container, isa ka balde, pwede gyapon. So we just weigh it kay naitimbangan. So let's say you want to fill this up with alcohol. And so you fill it up, maybe just,
it's already filled with alcohol.
Yeah. So you just fill it up to whatever you want. We weigh it. And then that's the only amount that you pay for, obviously the weight of the bottle is not included in the price, but it's a concept people are already doing. Yeah. Refill is very common here.
Yeah, that's good.
Drinking water is refillable. People do it with alcohol. The beer bottles are returned by the case, right? So it's not an unfamiliar concept. I think it just hasn't been extended over to the household essentials. Yeah.
Especially with the household essentials that we're using on a daily basis, right?
Yeah. These days,
we don't drink alcohol
probably too much
every day. Sometimes I do. But you're going to wash your clothes every day, wash your dishes, all that shit, even your hands with alcohol.
Let's stop
at least
using those
recycle,
sachets.
People.
Yeah.
So go to their store.
Yeah. Reuse, reduce. It's a great way to reduce plastic waste, even if it's minimal, right? And those sachets will last forever. We'll be long dead,
decades,
and the sachets that are in
hundreds of years
right now will still be around.
Yeah,
which is an unfortunate thing.
Yeah, that's a good way of doing business and selling shit. At least you're conscious of your impact on the environment. So
and
support local business.
And not only that, it's I think it's Women's Day or something like that, right? So it's a good sponsor because the owners are actually two women eco entrepreneurs. That's what they call ecopreneurs.
Women's Day. Is there like a man's day?
Yeah, that's every day, son. The women only get one. You got that right. They just get one. That's it.
What if there is one though? Somebody should make one. I don't know. Shout out to all the men in the world for fucking things up, everything. Sometimes women do.
Shout out to the hairy nutsacks out there.
But we always have special days for special people. So does that mean men aren't special because we don't have like a man's day? Some people complain about that.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Isn't that happy hour?
yeah, there you go. All right. That could pass. We can always find our happy place any time of the day. So we don't need a particular happy day to make us feel special, right?
Yeah. It's definitely not on a menstruation day, I'll tell you that.
Even Father's Day is only celebrated once a year, or Mother's Day, Grandma. It should be every day, right?
Yeah.
Just like Christmas should be every day for some Christians. It shouldn't just be celebrated every 25th of December.
Right.
To remember every Sunday, the Savior, Jesus Christ.
Every other day,
Jesus Christ.
Douchebag.
Yeah. Every day's got to be Father's Day. Right?
Consistency is difficult to do in real life, though, for sure. Consistently waking up early, consistently like getting to work on time. It's like it's never 100%, right? Like you're probably going to be late for work at least once in your life. Consistency is very difficult.
Yeah, because that's usually like the image that we have of fatherhood. Like when we watch the movies, we always see like the playtime, interacting with your child, and they're always like laughing, smiling at you. And that would be the image that would be embedded in your brain when you think about being a parent. But the boring stuff, you don't really show it all the time on the movies. The boring stuff, the grind,
washing the ass,
the washing
wiping
the ass,
that shit,
wiping the shit, snorting the fucking
the fumes,
snot, and the sip on like it's cocaine, when they have the fever or the flu. So you gotta fucking just suck it all up. My wife wouldn't do it, so I gotta do it. I mean, I can't do breastfeeding, so the least I can do is fucking suck the sip on out of her nose. I can't complain. I'm not doing that shit. All right.
you don't have the secretions. You just suck them in.
And I'm one of those people who's just not to, I'm like, I don't like dirty shit.
Yeah.
I just don't like.
You don't like that baby shit, huh?
Yeah, but I gotta do it.
Gotta do it, bro.
I gotta do it. Just suck the sip on. They have it like beer. I just imagine it's beer.
Yeah.
All right, and a straw with a straw. I don't usually drink my beer with a straw, but all right, it's beer. Gotta do it, man.
Is that? Do you recommend the straw one? Is that
the suction? Yeah, but it's not as effective as actually putting your mouth in their nose and sucking the marrow out of the bone. It's the most effective way of relieving the clog in their nose.
Suck out the poison.
Yep. There's nothing like it. So you got to do it once in a while, not all the time. Cocaine.
Take a quick one, man. Yeah, you can't take a long one because you're sucking the oxygen out of their lungs. I did that once, and she was like, had a suffocating look on her face. Like, oh shit, I did that too long. But yeah, man, you suck those boogers out, bro.
Oh man, it's part of it.
Yeah. Can you imagine if we still did that as adults?
Oh shit. Like when you're
that was just like a normal thing.
Yeah.
Honey, come here. She's like, like a 30 years old. Sucked the snot out of her nose.
Just imagine asking your wife to do that for you. Like you're tucked in your bed. The sipon.
Babe, the
sipon ko. Suyo pa sa, please.
Oh, man.
Good luck with that shit. Yeah. She'll probably leave you first and do that. But it's the thing. So we gotta do, right?
Manage your expectations, bro.
It's part of it. So anyway, we pretty much covered a lot of things tonight. So what else is on the news? Have you been reading up a lot of stuff lately?
Been on too much TikTok, man. I can't tell you what's happening in the real world because I'm just like immersed in the TikTok. I don't even understand. It's just like real life. Yeah. I kind of don't really understand what's going on. I'm just like, this is interesting.
Yeah. with what's happening in the world right now, sometimes you just gotta go like, fuck it all, right? I'm just gonna do my thing while I'm still alive, right?
Yeah.
So
if it's funny, sorry, go ahead.
It's okay.
It's funny that if you're on TikTok like late enough or early enough, there's actually like like a triple X invitations that are on there. I was like, what? This is actually allowed?
Like,
I mean,
really?
they don't get naked or anything, but I mean, there's it's just like a lot of other TikTok videos. They make it look like that, you know, where they're dancing, but then at the bottom it's like triple X, blah blah blah. I'm like, damn, I didn't know this was allowed on TikTok. Like, there's like a I don't know, like a service on there or something like that allows this to happen. Like, what else is on here late at night?
I'm not surprised. I've seen videos on Facebook where this half naked chick was just feeding her chickens.
What?
Yeah, she was just,
yeah, just like in a bikini or something.
She had like some of those revealing clothing.
Sure.
But my friend just forwarded it to her group chat. But I was surprised, like, who the hell is watching this shit? But I ended up watching it. It's like, holy fuck. Yeah, this is interesting. But
1 million views, bro. 10 million views.
But what the hell am I watching, right? It's just some chick, half naked chick, who's just trying to vie for attention.
Yeah.
And we just happen to be victims because of our fucking lizard brains or mammalian brains. Yeah. So you fall victim to it, but you still do. I still admit I'm guilty of it.
It's funny because those don't look that different from what people are already doing on TikTok. You know what I mean? Like, people are getting half naked on TikTok already. So it's just that much closer for them to go in that direction, right? It's like, how much if you can get 10 million people to look at you and you do when you have your clothes off, how much more likely would you think, as, you know, probably a young person, well, I'll just take my clothes off and I'll get paid for it.
Yeah.
Because all I have to do is just keep using TikTok and then, you know, they get whatever. So why is that? Why are kids basically allowed on this platform, and then they allow this?
If you allow them.
As
parents, that's our personal responsibility. So I believe
it's hard to know that they can't track this, because they use captions that come up on the feed while you're watching the video. So you have to input this data, like, you know, triple X, blah, 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 click on the link and whatever. So I would imagine if they have such almighty algorithms, how would that not be easily detectable? You got triple X on the goddamn caption.
Yeah.
You automatically flag that, right? Like on the back end, you have somebody review it like, oh yeah, this is a porno thing. This shouldn't be on here. Like, how difficult could that possibly be? They could outsource that to the Philippines, that kind of work, right? So they're obviously allowing it.
Yeah.
Like, why is that?
Well,
is that really the purpose of TikTok, or is it,
I don't know, but
to get little girls to like show off their bodies? You know,
obviously it's playing with their baser instincts. Like, they know what catches attention, right? It's not that hard to really determine what catches other people's attention. If I have big tits, if I were a woman, I would probably just, you know, show a little bit of it, and okay.
Seems to work on TikTok.
It will work. It's going to work. Close to 100%. It's going to work. Yeah. It's going to work all the time. You're going to catch a lot of people's attention. But the problem is telling them, is this the kind of attention that we need or you need? Is this like the only avenue for you to communicate with other people? Just by showing your some skin. I'm not saying women shouldn't do that. That's up to them.
It's called private parts for a reason.
Bodies, but
private parts.
In a way, I'm still a little bit conservative in my own little way about that. Even with myself, I have nothing to show for with my body, so I wouldn't do it. But if I had that, I'm not too sure about it. I mean, the same with wealth. If I had that's why I like being like this. I grew up simple. I'm not rich. I just, you know, my parents, when I was growing up, they didn't really give everything. They didn't provide everything for me. Like whatever I wanted, they could afford to send me to school, but that's about it. A decent school. But other than that, it wasn't like luxurious to the point where I would be detached from the world. I still grew up like knowing like there are parameters in reality where I can still connect with the other people. Yeah. So at least I'm not there. I'm not there. I hope not. I would ever get there. My daughter even goes to that.
Right.
If I would attempt to enrich myself, it wouldn't be to a point where I would be detached from reality or have my daughter undergo that experience. I would rather live a simple life or have her live a simple life just to at least ground them to the experience of this is what we call the human experience right now. Because it's hard. I mean, okay, we try to become millionaires, billionaires for what though? Okay, what happens next?
Yeah.
Good, well and good. You can provide jobs for other people. You can provide opportunities for other people at the cost of what? That will always be my question if I were try to attempt that someday. I don't know. I'm not sure. So who knows? Anyway, where were we?
So, about the TikTok thing.
TikTok. There you go. I veered too much on that.
No worries. it just puzzles me why their platform is so open, considering the demographics that are all on there. Obviously, one ads are difficult to, I'm all for empowering women and, it's Women's Day or whatever. And they got those hashtags, empower her and all that kind of stuff, women of TikTok or whatever. But hopefully there's still a high level of self-respect. If you want to like express yourself that way, there should be some serious thought into it, like why that is. Is that really the avenue that you need to choose to express yourself? Or because we have nieces and nephews that actually don't have so much social media interaction at all, at least from what I can see. Maybe they have internally they have like those Discord rooms and stuff like that. I don't know if you've ever hopped on one of those. It's like
I've tried it before.
Yeah, that's a little bit newer for me. I thought it was like something I got introduced to just recently. So there are a lot of other than the main big platforms. There are a lot of other ones that the younger generations might be spending their time on. One thing that I found out about recently, which sounds really interesting, was the dark side of Roblox.
Roblox.
Yeah, Roblox?
It's kind of like a Minecraft game, right?
Basically, yeah. It's like the blocky characters and stuff, and people get to build their own games within the universe of Roblox. And the wife's nephew was telling me something interesting about there was some pedophile like chatting. Yeah, via Roblox, chatting with his younger sister. And so he was kind of explaining like how that story came about, and I was like, wow, that's crazy, man. You really got to be paying attention. That's kind of what he was explaining to me. Is like, you should, because she would talk about Roblox and playing Roblox. The daughter in her class, she got it from her classmates. Actually, they mentioned it. She wants to, join the club, get on Roblox, and then she talked about it with her other cousins, and that's how they found out that she was on Roblox. And so he was explaining it to me, and I was like, he's like, there's a dark side to it. Yeah. So you should just be careful, like monitor what's going on. Because they'll just friend anybody, you know what I mean? Like, so you have to explain to them, like, don't tell people where you live. If people start talking about these certain topics,
don't be too friendly.
Yeah, don't tell them your age. Don't tell them your name, your birthday, anything.
That's the problem with the whole online thing. Man.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Well, I guess it's just like strangers, right? Like, don't tell strangers where you live. This is like an emergency.
You can never trust like another. Which is sad to say, because as a human being, I can always try to at least be a good human being, but you're aware that there really are wicked people out there that are just out there attempting wicked things.
Yeah.
Especially the pedos. Fuck those assholes. I hope they die a terrible death. Holy fuck. And you're always afraid of those people, right? And online, it's so easy for them to do that shit.
Totally, man. Totally.
Holy hell.
Innocent game like Roblox.
Yeah. And they're everywhere. I mean, I've encountered some people online in VR, as we've talked before. Like, there are some kids there that will just show up and we will just kick them out of the room because I don't think it's appropriate for me personally. Like, there's a 13, 12-year-old here engaging in conversations with a bunch of adults. For me, it's just, Jesus Christ, man, just get out of this fucking room. I would be consciously doing that.
Yeah.
But just the thought that there are predators out
going
there
out of
24/7 attempting
that's their thing
to fuck your kids.
Yeah.
Right? That's fucked up.
That's
fucked up. And I hope they die.
That's twisted shit.
But there really are people out there doing that. And that's the dangers of our whole communication process that we're having right now, that it's so freely available. So it's important that as parents, we have to monitor their activities and warn them that not all human beings have the same idea as we do, that we're trying to at least be decent in this world. Not everybody has that mindset in them. There's going to be a lot of fucked up individuals out there. So you got to warn them of those people, all right? But how? Because you wouldn't also want them to be too, how should I say this? Distrustful. I'm not sure if that's the right word.
You don't want
of other people. Yeah. You would at least give them the chance to give other people the chance to be good people, right? Because if they're too paranoid, then they wouldn't engage with other people. They would be too afraid. So that's a challenge of being a parent, I think. One of the many challenges.
Yeah, get on the platforms. I've been hearing that advice kind of consistently. Parent advice is just get on those platforms and see what's happening and try to understand what's going on in their context, right? Because it's always so convenient to tell a kid what to do and what not to do and where not to go and online, but they're going to go exploring, right? Yeah. It's like a vast universe online. It's an infinite universe.
But we're afraid to let them explore because we're afraid that they might fail or they would be subjected to pain, like death or suffering or abuse by other people, which is every parent's worst nightmare, which I hope they wouldn't have to go through.
Yeah, nobody wants to.
And sometimes it happens. Sometimes it happens. I think that's the most fucked up thing that could happen, right? I mean, we try our best to give them an environment where they can at least grow up to have this notion of an easy life, peaceful life, where they have access to every information, access to food 24/7. But we forget that nature is still nature, is fucked up. Things will happen. Things can escalate. Things are chaotic. It could happen anytime. We could die every day. They could die tomorrow. That's just a reality. I'm sorry I took this to a dark place, but but that's just it. I mean, it's hard, but dealing with it on a daily basis, I'm not sure. How do you practice it? Do you think it's practical to have that in your psyche, waking up, or should you just let it flow? I don't know. Having that mindset, like this could end. This shit could end any time of the day.
Yeah. I guess it's good to acknowledge that it's a daily possibility. But to think about like maybe how it's going to happen, that might be like too much. Maybe if you're thinking about it to that level,
obsessed with it like on a daily basis.
Yeah, and it changes your mood and into a bad place, and that's probably a concern. But otherwise, I don't see when I haven't. It's not the first time I would say that. Like, being an asthmatic always reminds me of death, and it only takes. It constantly does, because even though my asthma has been relieved to a certain degree, I still have wheezing that I deal with, throughout the year. It's not like a big issue, but it does. You can feel it, right? When your air is restricted, anyone is going to feel that instantly. So even in the slightest wheezing, you will remind me that this shit is still possible. Just be like gone tomorrow because you couldn't breathe. So that's in a way it's a blessing, but at the same time, it's what do they call that? A reminder.
A reminder.
Yeah. So it's a good reminder, I think. It's shaped my perspective on what a meaningful day is. So I think for medical conditions, it's a bit unique, right? Like there's not like unique in like a fabulous way, but it's like it restricts your breathing. So it's not like, oh, my foot hurts, or I got a migraine, or I can't, my hand is numb or something like that. It's like you can't breathe. Like you just can't breathe. Like that's the end result. So you're already on your way to not breathing. You know what I mean? So
you actually feel like like you're dying or something.
Yeah, I mean, you can't help but think you're in that direction, because like if this shit locks up, if this wheezing gets worse, that's going to be a problem. So it's a constant reminder. It's very consistent, I guess, for now. Not like a daily thing. Thankfully, that was how it used to be. It's like waking up wheezing in the middle of the night. Thankfully, I get good nights of sleep these days.
Yeah, that's a very good, at least from your perspective. You're actually thinking about it, right?
I don't have a choice.
Yeah, we all do, right?
Yeah.
Think about.
I feel like other people have more of a choice when it doesn't restrict your breathing. When you're free to breathe, you probably think of it a little bit less. Like before asthma, I surely didn't think of death as often. Sure, for sure. These days, definitely more often.
And parenthood changed our perspective on death a lot. I mean, we did think about it, but it was okay if you died.
Yeah, just not here tomorrow. That would have been fine.
All right, okay.
No kid.
But now you got to go. What are you going to do right now? They could probably survive, but chances are it's going to fuck things up, because
it's going to make it a lot more difficult.
I'd like to think it would be better if we're here, right, providing our insights, our guidance as fathers. At the same time, the same role as mothers have. It would be better if the mothers are present. So we think about it now.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
For sure, there are situations where, okay, maybe you shouldn't be in this nut house.
Yeah, it's a good way and healthy way to at least contemplate on our mortality on a daily basis, and how we relate that with our families, that, hey, this could end, so we might as well do our best as parents every day, or try to make them better every day, because one day they may end up becoming parents themselves.
Yeah.
So at least we've imparted something for them to have a blueprint on this journey that we're having. It's not perfect. We're gonna make mistakes.
For sure.
So will they. But at least
that's a good expectation to have.
Yeah. Every day I make mistakes. I mean,
it's a healthy expectation.
That's just a part of it. Parenting, husbanding, whatever.
That's a good thought. You want to end it right there, man?
Yeah. It's a good lesson for us, or a good point to consider